the Minnesota state law, you know? It's like,
Call to order for the regular meeting of the Planning Commission, September 4th, 2025. Max, you have roll call, please.
Sure thing. Chair Pearson,
Here.
Willenbring,
here,
Campbell,
Present.
Diata is absent. McCauley informed me that he would not be able to make it tonight. Shava
Present.
and Wilson.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the agenda. Does anyone have any additions or changes they might wish to make?
Nope, sir.
Seeing none, I will ask for a motion to approve.
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Approval of minutes, we have none, so we'll quickly go on to open forum. Time when anyone who wishes to make comment that is not on the agenda, please come forward. You could have 3 minutes to speak. I'll offer it one more time. If there's anybody who wishes to come forward for open forum to make comment on something not on the agenda, please come forward. Seeing none, we'll move on to no old business, but to new business. A public hearing, Carpentier, 2954 Granada Lane North, conditional use permit for an oversized accessory structure. If you will.
Yep. Thank you, Chair, and good evening. Tonight we have a request at 2954 Granada Lane North for a conditional use permit for an oversized accessory structure. The zoning here is R2 low-density residential, where single-family homes are permitted to have one garage and one shed or accessory structure by right, and additional structures are permitted via the conditional use permit process. Here the applicant is seeking to add a new garage or workshop building to the back of the lot. The property as a whole is approximately 0.4 acres in size and contains a single-family home with an attached garage. Here we have the applicant's site plan for the accessory building. The applicant plans to use the garage primarily for storage and as a workshop for hobby projects. The garage would be located in the rightmost corner of the backyard, which is located on the easternmost portion of the lot. Based on the provided plans, the applicant appears to be meeting the setback requirements of the R2 district for accessory buildings of 5 feet. Additionally, the applicant has stated that the garage would not exceed height limits, which can also be verified at the building permit stage. As a reminder, conditional use permits are subject to certain review criteria found in the city's ordinance. Here's a quick summary of the review criteria that we must use in our evaluation. Compliance with the comprehensive plan, compatibility of the use with zoning, no nuisance effects generated, no traffic congestion or parking issues. The use must be adequately served by public services, no excessive costs incurred for public services and infrastructure, and minimal impacts to the environment or natural features. Generally, staff finds that the conditional use permit review criteria has been satisfied as detailed in the staff report on file. Staff is recommending approval of this request, subject to the following conditions. The applicant shall obtain a building permit. The garage shall meet setback and height requirements, and the garage shall not exceed 900 square feet in size. As a reminder, this is a public hearing, and the applicant is here with us in attendance. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions on this request.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Max?
Not at this time.
Nope.
No? Then I'll offer for the applicant to come forward to make comment if they wish.
So, I have a question.
State your name and address for the record, please.
So, my name is Andrea Carpentier from 2954 Granada Lane North. I'm the applicant. And I do have a question about the height requirements. I'm just wondering I don't think I saw anything about what they are, just to make sure that we are within the limits of that.
Max?
I can answer that. So any openings are generally required to be no higher than 10 feet, whether that's the door or garage door, if you're going to have a garage door. I believe it's 20 feet for the R2 district on accessory buildings, but I need to verify that, and I can send a follow-up email in the next few days.
Okay, great. Thank you. And that was all I had, so.
Yeah, okay. Anyone have a question for her?
That was one of my questions, is how tall it was going to be.
But we were thinking about 13 feet
Okay.
at the most, so.
And what is your intended materials for the outside for the exterior?
I'm thinking, well, we haven't gotten quotes yet, but I'm thinking wood, like we had a shed before and it was made out of wood, like a stick built.
So like any windows or anything like that on this?
Yes, windows and then garage door. Yeah. And then the outside will be siding that matches the house. Or
Like a
some-
traditional vinyl siding or like a hardy board or something like
Yes,
that? Okay.
yeah.
Anyone else?
How long do you think it'll take to put up the structure?
You know, I'm not sure because we have to, I wanted to wait till it's approved, of course, and then we need to get concrete. Oh, that would be the first thing to be done. And then we're having someone build it, because it would take way too long for us to do it. So I would like to get it done before November, but we'll see what the schedule is like, so.
Okay, any last minute questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now for the public hearing. Open the public hearing for comment on this, typically limited to about 3 minutes, but anyone wishing to make comment, please come forward.
Hi, how are you guys doing? The reason I'm here is because
Name and address.
my name is Emily Millis. I live at 3013 Green Avenue North. So this structure will be directly out our windows. My concern isn't about the building itself, it's about the use of the building. If it's gonna be a garage, I'm not as concerned. If it's a workshop, I wanna know how much it's going to be used and how much noise it's gonna be adding to the area and how they're planning to deal with debris they have from that, because that section of our neighborhood likes to burn their extra stuff, and it's a lot to deal with in the spring. So, and if they're going to be using it as a workshop, are they going to have dampening of sound or anything? Because it can get really loud when somebody's doing sawing, things like that out there. So those are just some of our concerns. Thanks, guys.
Would you like to come up and address it? All right. To the microphone for the record.
All right, so we do plan on having it as soundproof as possible because we know, people don't like a lot of noise in the neighborhood. So, and my son will mainly be using it as the workshop part, and, we'll keep it as quiet as possible.
So when you say like 900 square feet is a big structure.
Right.
Yeah. We allow up to 200, you're 4x that, 4.5. So that's, part of my concern is like it's a large structure. I'm a little concerned because it sounds like kind of your idea is not very clear yet. Feels like you maybe have put the cart before the horse a little bit, right? You're trying to get the approval, but you're not quite sure what you're planning to build there. So with respect to this, sheds typically uninsulated, unfinished on the inside. Are you planning to insulate this? Is you planning to put sheetrock up? Is this going to be heated? I think there was some comments or some notes in
Yes.
here that you plan to plumb this. So is there a long-term plan for this to be a additional dwelling unit on the property?
No, not dwelling. And the plumbing is just for a sink, like to wash hands, basically to wash up.
Okay.
So, and it will be insulated and And we want the walls finished.
Recognize that it's not supposed to be for a business.
No,
What types of endeavors will your son be using it as a workshop for? Woodworking, car repair, or something?
yes, so he's refinishing it or redoing a car right now, a little one, and it's in our regular garage, but he'd like to move it to the other structure just so it's out of the way more. And then he tinkers with stuff. He likes to do some woodworking every now and then, so things like that.
So when we talk woodworking, again, I'm just trying to help put into context,
Yeah.
like, how big we're talking about. You know, we've had folks come through with CUPs, and, I mean, they're wood workshops, like,
Oh,
that's what
no.
they do, you know, it's big equipment and things like this, or is that what you're talking about, or?
No,
Maybe you
just-
can describe that a little more.
More like hobbies, like he's built tables before and things like that. No big equipment. For one thing, I don't want to buy that, so, you know, yeah. So,
Any other questions? Thank you.
all right.
So before I close the public hearing, does anyone else have comments they wish to make during the public hearing?
Hi, Eric Millis, same address, 3013 Green. So I don't know if you can put the drawing back up, but the shed that exists there, so right now it's like a soft shed. I think that was the previous slide. Yeah, the star that says existing shed, that's like 4x4 or 5x5, right? It's at most 25 square feet. So we were wondering initially whether this would be like, I don't know, 10x10. So 30x30 is quite a large structure. This is kind of a treed backyard type area that's sort of common between all the surrounding homes. And as mentioned, it's kind of like where everybody has all their fire pits are all kind of centered around. So I just sort of to reiterate, it's like if woodworking is one of the primary functions, then it's like, is it producing a lot of scrap? And then is the scrap intended to be burned? So it's kind of the size difference from 25 square feet now to 900 is quite a lot. And I guess 13 feet, if that's outer wall, or is 13 feet to the peak of the roof, I don't know. So anyway, that's kind of,
That'll be from Max, but I'm guessing it's peak of the roof.
yeah, okay. At that size.
Okay, final call. Any others for comment?
So we don't plan to burn a lot of things, so I know that's a concern. So if there is scrap wood or anything like that, we could dispose of it differently. So, and the 13 feet, yeah, that is for the ceiling.
Yeah.
And 30x30 is the max. I'm not sure if we'll go that big, so.
I think the challenge with that, though, is a conditional use permit runs with the land. So if you move and somebody else moves in, and let's say you build a 12x12, they have the right to tear that down and put a 30x30 in. So that's kind of what we have to plan for, is it's gonna be that size structure.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
So, seeing no other further comments, I will close the public hearing. Bring it back. Any final questions from the commissioners?
Max, when this comes in for a building permit, does that route through I presume it routes through planning, and you're looking at applicability to the underlying zoning and making those approvals, even though we don't know what any of that is right now?
Commissioner, that would be correct. When we receive a building permit, we're usually receiving a much more detailed document. in which our building official or residential inspector would take a look at and make sure it's up to International Building Code, as well as our engineering team, other steps in the process when we receive the permit through our software. Generally, myself, I would check for impervious surface limit, materials. We don't regulate materials in the same way for single family. Generally, the Class 1 material requirements that come up quite a bit in Planning Commission are relegated to commercial and industrial structures and multifamily. But in terms of like vinyl, a lot of that, or the siding, that does come with building code. So that's something we would check as well. Generally, we look for a higher level of detail than we do with some of these permits, which just enable the use rather than have all the details necessarily for the structure.
Any further questions? Then I look for a motion to recommend approval of the conditional use permit for an oversized accessory structure with conditions at 2954 Granada Lane North.
So moved.
Second.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
One opposed. Okay, motion passes. Moving on to the Energy Conservatory, 403 Hayward Avenue North, a site plan amendment. Max?
Thank you, Chair. The location of this request is 403 Hayward Avenue North. This is a building currently owned by the Energy Conservatory and is just east of the new 4th Street Bridge over 694. The zoning here is B3 Light Industrial, and the purpose here is the Energy Conservatory is seeking approval for a site plan amendment, which would allow a 3,525 square foot addition to their existing building. The addition would be used as a training center for participants to learn how to perform energy audits, weatherization techniques, and building testing technologies. Per the city code, a site plan amendment is required when the building footprint is changed by more than 10%. The existing building is approximately 25,000 square feet in size, which leads to the requirement then for the site plan amendment here. And this addition would be added to the southeast corner of the building, which is presently some turf and green space as well as parking lot. Per the comp plan, this property is guided industrial office, where this is a permitted use. Here we have the site plan for the applicant. In general, no new accesses are being proposed. There's currently 2 on the site. And the addition would replace a portion of the existing turf and parking lot. The existing parking for this site is 97 spaces. As a part of the addition, 4 would be removed, bringing us to 93 spaces, which does exceed the city's requirement of 69 spaces. As an industrial building, at least 50% of the addition would be required to consist of Class 1 materials. The addition, as shown, has a lot of glass and brick veneer, which do meet the requirement. No new freestanding lights in the parking lot are proposed, and trash is currently handled internally, and the applicant has stated it would continue to be so. For landscaping, less than 25% of the trees on site would be disturbed by the addition, meaning that the tree preservation ordinance is not prompted by this request, and replacement would not be required, given the level of disturbance. And setbacks for this district are 20 feet for buildings from the property line and 5 feet for parking lots. Based on the provided plans, this appears to be met. Here we have a rendering of the building facing east, which shows the general material makeup of the addition. And here we have a 3D rendering of the building shown facing southeast. One note on some additional information we received since the staff report was written. There will be no new rooftop utility units on the addition according to the applicant, and the building will have a parapet. As a result, screening of rooftop utilities is not expected to be an issue with the site plan and can be verified again at the building permit stage. In the current staff report, it was listed as something that we'd like to see additional information on. Staff finds generally that this request complies with the zoning ordinance, subject to certain conditions being met. Staff is recommending approval of the site plan amendment, subject to the following conditions. Approval of the site civil construction plans by the city engineer, providing details on the methods of screening for any rooftop utilities. Permits and approvals must be obtained from all applicable outside government agencies, and proof of approvals must be provided to the city. As a site plan amendment, this is not a public hearing, but the applicant, I believe, is here in attendance if the commission has any questions. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions as staff, and thank you.
Thank you, Max. Anyone have any questions for Max? Okay. Would the applicant like to come forward for any comment? It's not required, but
Yeah, I think, you know, you've read the narrative, oh, sorry. Yeah, so I'm Bill Graber. I'm one of the owners. Steve Rogers, our other owner, is here. And yeah, the narrative that you read is really a good description of, you know, what we're trying to do with the space.
okay. Anyone have any questions for the applicant?
I have one.
Okay.
More curious on like, why are you building closer to the road versus, I mean, you have space relatively the same size in the northeast corner. I'm just curious if there was any thought to that.
Yeah, I think when we looked at the amount of space and what we're doing with it, it's a training center. There's an existing training center that this will connect to that's already inside the building in that corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for him? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any final questions? Then I look for a motion to recommend approval of the site plan amendment at 403 Hayward Avenue North.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Staff liaison update.
I do have a few updates for tonight. In general, we can expect a October meeting. It's possible we might have some ordinance amendments, but we have to have some additional conversations with that. But we are expecting a meeting. With the two items at the last Planning Commission, the Eberhard Farm Centra Homes project and 9th Street Landing, I have a couple of updates on that. Generally, with both projects, we've recommended that the applicants take a step back and then have meetings with the community. So I believe both have had community engagement meetings. With 9th Street Landing, they're exploring some ideas for additional buffer space, as that was one of the concerns that came up. And it's expected that that may go to council in the second meeting of September. We have not seen any updated plans for Centra Homes, and currently the staff does not have a targeted date with city council for a final decision. One other update, in the next few weeks, we are expecting Manna Brewing to open up in the Norhart building in that second mixed-use commercial space. So there may be additional announcements on that. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions with developments, past items, or anything on your mind.
Any questions for Max further? Thank you. Commissioner updates. Does anyone have any updates that they wish to put forward? Seeing none, council liaison.
Good evening, everybody. Just a couple of quick things for you. Council's been working on wrapping up our preliminary budget levy for 2026. That's a lot of work if you've ever been involved with that. So, but we're wrapping it up and it's looking pretty good for us. So that's what council's been busy with. Just a couple of events I'd make note of in the city on Saturday the 13th. Family Fun Inflatables event here at Walton Park. That's great fun for the kids. There'll be concessions and other stuff there. So encourage you to check that out. And then also on the 20th of September is the citywide cleanup. This is the second year now we've been doing this. They used to do it years ago. It's an opportunity for folks to get rid of some of the stuff they need to get rid of. So it's held at Public Works, and it's a good opportunity to get rid of stuff. So any questions for me? Great.
Thank you very much. At that point, I look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned.
So did that.